So, as many of you may know, I run an organization that serves SWs who are impacted by the criminal legal system, right? It's called SWOP Behind Bars, SWOP Behind Bars. That's the Sex Worker Outreach Project. And this coalition of people fighting for the rights of SWs, I hate using these euphemisms, whatever. If I get flagged, I get flagged. So sex worker rights activists and people who are fighting for the rights of incarcerated and formerly incarcerated people tend to have a lot of barriers to using the systems that make them able to be effective, right? And one of those is banking. Big one is banking. In 2018, when SESTA FOSTA passed, which was the Stop Enabling Sex Traffickers Act, one of the things that was associated with that was a whole bunch of banking reforms. And the intention was to make it so that like criminal trafficking organizations could no longer use banks or would have a less easy time using banks to conduct their criminal conspiracies, right? But what actually happened is that just vulnerable people who were minding their own business were negatively impacted. So like cam girls suddenly were getting their bank accounts closed, things like that. That's usually how those kinds of laws work out, by the way, because they're poorly thought through and nobody ever thinks to ask the people who like work in the trade or adjacent to the trade or are going to be impacted, you know, what they want to see done, but what the fuck ever, nobody ever asks us. So anyway, there's all these negative externalities in banking and services. Around that time, the organization that I run, SWOP Behind Bars, lost a bank account. Okay. I was out of the country, photographing a wedding in beautiful Tequesquitengo, Mexico, when I got a notice that our bank account was being shut down. And they wouldn't tell me why. And I called and they wouldn't tell me why. They said it was for security, for suspicious activity, yada, yada, yada. And they never did tell me why. But because I wasn't in the country at the time, I could not get to a branch within a certain, little period of time to get the money out before they seized it. And then it took like 2 months for us to get it back. It was a fucking disaster. So we're a much larger organization now. And I have spent years of blood, sweat, and tears, along with a lot of other people, legitimizing this movement. So many of us are out here just trying to legitimize the movement to make sure that we can uplift as many people as possible and fight for the rights of people in, around, adjacent to, and negatively impacted by the sex trade, right? So today I wake up, my organization that like provides benefits, like literally we have a full staff. We use ADP Total Source. Like we are a legit organization. We file our 990s. We're a 501c3. Everything's been going great. We're totally above board. Hell, we even have like small business credit, right? We get state and municipal grants. Like we are a legitimate organization that provides social services. I wake up today to find that the bank accounts have been restricted. They have been shut to me. I cannot access them as the admin. So I call the bank, I spend all day, yada, yada, yada. Come to find out, oh gosh, there's suspicious activity on your accounts. Your accounts have been flagged for suspicious activity. And they're going to be closed. You're not going to be able to access anything for at least 10 days until we start closing accounts. So I ran my happy ass to Chase. I ran my happy ass to the very legitimate bank, a bank which, by the way, just as an aside, has a history of having to pay out settlements to trafficking survivors because of Epstein. So I guess that makes sense as to why they're risk averse. And I withdrew all of the money, and I'm going to have to take it to another bank. And this is going to be a week to a month of my life moving this very large apparatus of a national nonprofit to another bank. Now, I cannot prove that this is why. I cannot prove that it's because we have some level of like ancillary affiliation with the adult industry. I cannot prove that it's because of, the politics of anybody in our organization, what they do in their free time, though it is fair to say that most of the people associated with us tend to be further left than the average American. That said, though I cannot prove it, I absolutely guarantee that's what happened here, right? And the bank will never tell you, by the way. In a couple months, I may or may not get a piece of paper in the mail that says that after internal review, yada, 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 we've decided that for security reasons, such and such and such, but they will never actually tell you. They didn't tell me in 2018 when it happened with Bluevine. They didn't tell me in 2021 when it happened with Truist Bank, and they're not going to tell me now with Chase. But when I talk about this to people, they either think I'm insane, they think I'm lying, or they just cannot believe that the system would work this way. Especially when you're looking at me, I'm like a cis, hetero-presenting, white, like pretty straightforward, bureaucrat at heart, all this stuff. Like, I am a legit above board person who is doing legit above board work, and people just cannot believe that I might have some association with the demographic that would be impacted in this way, or that any demographic of people actually is impacted in this way. It makes me crazy. Also, just by the way, there's like 12 people on staff that couldn't get paid on time this week. My benefits invoice hasn't been paid on time because today is the day that the wire goes out for payroll and for the monthly benefits invoice. There are 12 programs that we sponsor or that are under our umbrella that now I have to do all these crazy workarounds to make sure that they can conduct their day-to-day programming while I get this banking issue settled. And I already had a busy week, by the way. I'm the executive director. I got shit to do. It creates an enormous amount of insecurity, fear, resentment, paranoia. I mean, it's a very bad situation when something like this happens. And I am constantly trying to navigate the politics of this sector. And, they're really complicated. And one of the things one of the tacks that I try to take is to say, like, we need to, in this kind of uncertain time, consolidate our resources and our power and just like really circle the wagons. But shit like this makes me think, God, maybe we all just need to move back underground. I mean, it's really scary and it's really frustrating. And my fear is that it would lead smaller organizations that were starting to get a leg up by using our infrastructure, the infrastructure we have spent years and years and years building, that they're going to be wary of using that infrastructure because once you get to a certain size, you have the possibility of being a target. But this can happen to anyone. You don't have to be a sex worker adjacent or servicing organization. You don't have to be an organization that is servicing formerly and currently incarcerated people. I mean, especially the way shit's going in Washington, D.C. right now, this could be any of us. It's not good. It's not great, Dan, as they say. So anyway, if you're interested in the work we do at Swap Behind Bars, we have a very broad, wonderful coalition of people doing incredible work to serve and uplift their communities. We prioritize staffing from the communities that we serve. You can check us out at swapbehindbars.org and you can donate there, and it will go and it will sit in our PayPal or our Stripe until I get a new bank account done this week. Oh, there's also just a petty point of privilege here. There's no Bank of America or Wells Fargo in the state of Louisiana, so hopefully Capital One would take us. Otherwise, I'm going to have to drive my happy ass to Mississippi to sign up with B of A. I can't use credit unions, don't have the infrastructure that we need, and some of the local banks, like the one I use for my personal checking, we're not... Our LLC isn't registered in Louisiana, so they won't take us. Anyway, it's a whole thing. I'm not going to bore you to death with that. But yeah, it's crazy out here, folks. And please keep in mind the boring and complicated and weird back end ways that people are kept from having power, kept from becoming empowered, kept from accessing things that you take for granted. That's all. Thank you.